Edison is an audio recording and editing tool within FL Studio, which allows you to record audios from both external and internal sources, and also allows you to make edits with the powerful tools it has. In this video, we're going to be going over everything you need to know about how to use Edison to its maximum. Alright guys, so first of all, to load up Edison, you have to first of all go to your mixer, and then you can click on any insert right here, and then you can go over to your effect slot, and under miscellaneous you can see you have Edison right here, and this is how it comes up. First of all, if you look to our top left right here, you can see we have the controls right here. You can see we have the play, the pause, the record button. All right, and we have some recording options right here also. We can start to record now, okay, on input on play. You can also set a timer for the recording right here. And over right here, you can see we have some file options. Okay, we can create a new sample, load a sample, okay. And over to the right, as you can see, we have some tools right here also. And over at this big space right here at the bottom, right here is the waveform view. Okay, this is actually where you actually see the waveform of what you are actually recording or editing. First things first, to get an audio into Edison is actually very simple. One way to do it is you can actually just drag a sample from your browser. You can actually just drag that in, and you have a sample inside Edison, and that is just that. And to delete this, you can just go ahead and press delete on your keyboard, and it is gone. Right, so another way to get audio into Edison is by recording from an external source, such as a mic or a guitar plugged into your audio interface or something of that sort. And to do this is actually very simple. Okay, so we have the slots that our Edison is placed in. Okay, we can go ahead and select our mic. And now if we go over to Edison, you can see that Edison is receiving some information from the mic, as we can see right here. Now, to actually turn this off, if you don't want to be hearing the feedback, you can actually just click this speaker icon right here, and it shuts everything up for you. Okay, but it is still reading the information that it needs to. So to record this, as you can see, we have four options. If I should click on now, you'll notice that it immediately starts recording when I press the record button. All right, when I press the record button, it just immediately starts recording. As you can see, we have our recording, and it's recording every single thing I'm saying right now. So to stop this, I just go ahead and press the stop button, and it has stopped that. Okay, so you also have other options like on input. What on input does is that it kind of doesn't start recording until you start saying something. Like I can press the record button, but it doesn't start recording until I start saying something. So if I'm to go over to on input right now, so I'm just going to be silent for a while so that you'll notice what I'm trying to say. And immediately I start talking right now, you notice that it immediately starts recording. All right, guys. So another way to record, to get audio into Edison, all right, is by recording directly from the playlist. Okay, whatsoever you have in the playlist, whether it be a MIDI, an audio, whatsoever it is, you can record what is being played in the playlist into Edison. And now it is actually very simple to get this. But what you need to know is that, first of all, Edison is going to work with what is being put into that insert. For example, if I'm to play this audio now, you notice that there's nothing coming into insert 1, but Edison is on insert 1. So Edison cannot be able to record this if this sound is not being linked to this insert 1. So most of the time I want to record like a bunch of things placed in different inserts on the mixer. All right, it's best if you just put Edison on the master channel so that it can record everything at once for you. All right, but since we're just working with one, so I can just go ahead and set this to track 1 on the mixer. All right, and then we have that information going into insert 1. And now it's just the same thing. If you want to record, you can use the different modes. You can start recording now. You can go ahead and set it to on input, and you can also go ahead and set it to on play. Now what on play does is that it starts playing the song whenever the music starts playing. Now this option on play also has a kind of more advantage to it. So let's say I want to record like a kind of a phrase, or I want to record like I want to make a recording, all right, and I want to have multiple takes. Okay, what I can do is I can just set a loop for that portion that I want to record and set it to on play. Now what happens when I do this is that Edison would loop this multiple times, and you will notice that it will have different like a demarcation for each take, which you can just go ahead and drag and drop into the playlist. So let me explain what I'm saying. Like if I'm to record this now, so this is like officially my first take, and this now is the second take. All right, and this right here now is the third take. So if you look at this now, you can see we have the first one right here, and we can double click on this song jump right here at the top to highlight each section. Okay, I can go ahead and highlight this and delete this at the end. So you can see we have these three different options right here. So now instead of you going over and trying to record everything one by one, you can actually just use this process. And what you can do from here is you can just go ahead and select one portion, and then you can now export this to the mixer by clicking this button that we have at the end right here. And immediately you have that everything is right on straight up. And this now is the second take. All right, so you can see this option can really come in very, very handy at different points in time. All right, guys, so let's dive into the different display modes that we have right here in Edison. So if we go over to this eye tool over here at the top, you can see that we have the spectrum, we have the dual view, and we have the display settings. All right, so we have different display settings right here. Now, if we go to the spectrum, you can see that what we see instead of the wave, we can see a spectrum right here. You can see it's kind of colored blue. Yours might have a different color, all right, but mine is kind of blue. And you have the dual view, which shows both the waveform and the spectrum view right here. You can actually turn on the spectrum, and because it is on dual view, it is showing both together. All right, then if we go over to display setting, you can see we have a whole lot of settings right here. You can set the bands for the spectrum. Okay, you can go for a smaller band, which has kind of a lower resolution. All right, or you can go for the higher bands, which has more resolution. And over down here, you can change the color of the spectrum. As you can see, we can change it to this kind of I call this a purplish red kind of color. But I'm gonna leave this at a glacier for now because this is what I kind of prefer. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the spectrum off. All right, and also go ahead to turn the overview off. Okay, so this is just for you to be able to see and make some editing wherever you feel necessary. It all boils down to what you want and how you want it. So as you can see, this recording right here is divided into 3. Okay, but to select one, you can go ahead and double click on this song jump like I've showed you before. And this is a very, very important aspect because right now we can go ahead and just press delete on our keyboard to automatically just delete one of those sections. Okay, let me go ahead and undo that with Ctrl Z. So you can actually go ahead and silence one section. Okay, and by pressing Shift Delete on the keyboard, that section still remains the same, but it just goes ahead to silence it. And you can actually go ahead and isolate this particular section right here by pressing Ctrl Delete on the keyboard. So it keeps this section and deletes every other thing aside from this. Now, aside the selection that we have by groups, okay, you can actually also select like manually. If you hold down Control on your keyboard and just click and drag, you can actually go ahead and make selections. Okay, and if you like, let's say I remove my hand from Control and I just click on this right side, I can actually go ahead and extend and reduce this. Okay, and actually go ahead and do that on the left side also, as it's on the right side. Okay, but in case I want to make a new selection, okay, I can just hold down Control again and then go ahead and select a new portion. And this selection is very, very important because whatsoever edits you make, it only affects the part that is being selected. All right, so now when it comes to the tools within Edison, there are a whole lot of tools jam-packed within Edison, both the ones you can see here and some that are kind of hidden. So let's just go over the major functions that we have within Edison. First of all, if we go over to the top left right here, I'm just going over these tools that we have right here. We can see we have the undo button. Let's say we just delete something, it just takes us back and undoes that for us. All right, then next up we have this claw machine tool right here. And what the claw machine tool right here is actually a very, very kind of unique tool. Okay, it kind of creates new patterns and rhythms for that particular recording that you have going on. But when I click on the claw tool, first of all, it's going to ask us for us to specify the BPM that we have going on. So mine is 130. Okay, I'm going to go and accept that. Now we have these options right here where we can actually kind of change the rhythm of that particular melody that we have. So let me go ahead and preview this for you to hear the changes that has been made. You can see, so if I'm to accept this, you can see it is the same thing, but it just kind of ruffles out the whole thing, just create out something different. That's just something unique and different from what we have right here. And then next up, we have the normalize option. All right. And what the normalize does is simply just takes out the highest part of your audio and stretches it out to the maximum, and also stretches everything in between that. Okay. So if I'm to go ahead and select all and click on normalize, you can see it just kind of stretches out everything to the highest point, which is the top. All right. And it also expands everything in between until it reaches the maximum also. So what it does basically is just to make everything louder. And then over down here, we have the trim side noise / gate noise. First of all, we notice that this thing has two options. We have the left click option, which is the trim side noise, and then the right click option, which is the gate noise. All right. So first of all, if you have to left click, that's to trim side noise. What happens is that it kind of trims out this noise at the beginning before there's any major audio that comes in. So if I'm to click left click on this, I notice that it just kind of cuts out that beginning section until there is a major input that comes in. And then over at the right click, we also have the gate noise. What it does is that it kind of looks at all the parts that are silent, just like it did for the beginning. It looks at all those parts where there is no audio coming in, and it just kind of removes totally the audio, the sound. So if I'm to right click, you notice that all these parts are now silent and there's nothing that's coming through them. Now over here, we have also two options. We have the fade in / the click in. Now what the fade in does is just simply, as it says, it fades in the audio. So if I'm to click on this, you notice that the beginning parts become a little bit low in the volume, and it gradually increases. Okay. And then also we have the declick in, which remove pops and clicks in the audio. And next to that, we have the fade out / the click out. It does the same thing, but for the end of the audio this time. If I'm to click on this, it just gradually tapers out the audio. All right. And then the right click also declicks the audio. And next to that, we have the run script option, or the run script tool. Okay. This one compiles and runs scripts written in Pascal or Visual Basic to process the wave file. And next to that, we have the time stretch, just kind of like stretches out the audio. Okay, and you can also use this to actually pitch your audio up or down. Okay, so if I'm to click on this, you can see we have the pitch course, and we have the fine, we have the performance preservation, and all those kind of things. So you can actually just use this to affect the pitch of your song, and you can actually use it to also affect the length and a whole lot of things in between. And then next up here, you can see we have the reverb option, and this does exactly what it says. It adds a reverb to the track, to whatever is being recorded. So if I'm to click on it now, you can see we have the dry and wet option. Okay, let me just go ahead and reduce the wet option a little bit, and then we can have a preview button right here to preview how it sounds. And this is not the second take, all right? And then we have the blur option. Now this is another very, very unique one, okay, because it actually does kind of something that is very unique. Okay, so what it does is that, I don't know how to explain it, but it just kind of smears all the whole recording that you have together, and it just kind of brings out something that sounds like a reverb, but it's not actually reverb. Okay, so let me just go and preview it let me just preview it for you to hear how it sounds. So you can see it kind of washes everything together into like many voices, and I don't know the the operation that goes behind this, but it can sound awesome sometimes. And this is not the same thing. So this is with the amount small, and it can go larger, which makes it sound like a bit wider. So you can just hear how that sounds very, very awesome and amazing. And over here we have the EQ, which is just a simple EQ. Okay, you can go ahead and hold down Control and click to add points. Okay, you can move those points up and down this frequency spectrum. You can actually click and drag to also draw and make numerous points, which is just amazing. And over here, you can actually go ahead and click on this to reset everything back to the way it was. All right, then we have the denoiser right here, which we use to remove noise from your audios. Okay, so I have a detailed video in the description on how to denoise audio using Edison. Let's quickly just summarize how it works. As you can see, there's also a left click and a right click option. Okay, you have the clean up the noise, which is the left click, and you have the acquire noise profile, which is the right click. So first things first, you have to select a portion where there's just noise on your recording, like we have here. This is just noise, and then you right click to acquire that noise. Now once that noise is acquired, you now select everything, or you just select the portion that you want to remove the noise from, and then you then left click to remove that noise. Now the major function you need to just worry about is the amount right here. Okay, so sometimes I want to set it to the maximum, but most times you actually need to just set it in between to just have that sweet spots you want, and then you go ahead and preview this to hear how it sounds. And this is not the second take, and then you accept it whenever you want to. As you can see now, there's no noise in between here as it was before. And now we have this option to add markers. Now what a marker is all these yellow options which we've covered also, and you can go ahead and click right here to add a marker or remove a marker. Now how this works is that it works on where you plug the cursor. As you can see, if I double click on any portion on the waveform control, you can see that we have this red line over here. Now where this red line is, that is where the marker is going to be created. So if I'm to double click here now, I can go ahead and add a marker right here. Can double click right here to go ahead and add a marker right here. So you can actually just do this, and with the markers we can do exactly what we did at the beginning. We can double click on each section to just go ahead and isolate that section and make some edits or whatever you want to do within that section. And you can also right click on the marker to delete it. Okay, you can right click here, delete it, right click, delete, and right click, delete that marker also. Under here we have this option for auto slicing. Now what this auto slicing just likely means that it kind of adds markers to where it feels that audio, like there's a punch of audio, like where the audio kind of just comes in, kind of find out, figure out where those points are, and adds a marker right there to like kind of divide the audio into sections. So if I'm to click on this now, you notice that it goes ahead to go and create multiple markers at different points in time. And if you notice, if you look at the markers, you notice that they don't just come in randomly or at any point in time. They kind of come in where there's a burst of audio. Now this tool can come in very, very handy, and it's wise to know exactly when to use them. So we have this loop option right here, and what this does is that it opens, when you click on it, it opens like a box where you can actually loop. It kind of creates a loop of the audio that you have going on. It's a very, very amazing, and it can become very, very handy. And then also you have this save as option, which you can use to just save your work to an external source or just to export your work out, and that is that. And then we have this option right here which we can use to drag this audio right into the playlist. And then, like for example, let's say we are done with this, I want to take it to the playlist. We can just click on this and we can go ahead and drag this into the playlist right here, and it comes in. Or you can also go ahead and click on this option which exports it directly into the playlist. So if I'm to delete this right now and go back, okay, I can just click on this and it just automatically just takes it straight over into the playlist. That's that. And now if we go over to the bottom of the waveform, as you can see, we have over here, we have the edit waveform, and we also have the edit pan. So what we can do right here is that we can actually edit the pan of this audio. You can go ahead and right click to create points, and we can actually move those points up and down. Now up represents the right channel, while down represents the left channel. So you can actually just go ahead and add points and pan this up and down, like left and right. And this is not the second, so you can actually just have that amazing sound going. And you can actually move this circle in between 2 points to actually kind of just create this blend in between the 2 points. And also, as you can affect the panel, you can also affect the volume also. The same thing, you can actually go ahead and right click to create points, and you can actually move those points up and down. The higher you go, the higher the volume. The lower you go, the lower the volume. And aside that, you can also affect this option right here, which is the stereo separation envelope. Okay, and you can actually does the same thing. The higher you go, the more stereo separated it is. The lower you go, the more mono it sounds. So that is that for you to have. And also over here, you can see we have some options right here, which are just the display options that we've covered before, but these are just kind of like some shortcuts for you to easily access this information. So like we said at the beginning of this video, Edison, it's a very, very powerful tool and has a whole lot of tools in it. So if you want to know more about working with audios to get those sounds coming out better in a more professional way, all right, do well to check out this video right now showing on your screen. Thanks guys for watching this video, and see you in the next one.